Hi, and welcome to another episode of Third Act Solutions. Thanks for joining me. Last week, we talked about gratitude. Gratitude was the subject. For me, gratitude has been, probably at the foundation of my existence. The understanding that, I had to make the best of things and I had to appreciate things. My mother made sure that we appreciated what we had. We appreciated the food on the table. We appreciated what we did have. And I can't say what little we did have because I didn't really recognize it as being little. It was what it was. And so we made the most of it and didn't complain. You know what I mean? It probably helped my imagination that I could put two popsicle sticks together and it can become a plane, a full-on plane where it would fly. I had a great imagination. So therefore I was able to make things happen. And it served me well when I was in Vietnam in terms of, being able to think about the people that I loved and the memories that I had back home while I was in the jungle and dealing with people. And then I was able to help other soldiers have that thing. So there's something that's always been a part of me that understood the power of gratitude. Never let your expectations get higher than your gratitude. You know what I mean? So that you can always be in appreciation for where you are, which gives you an opportunity to see what's possible in front of you. If you get stuck in terms of expecting too much, then you wind up looking in that rearview mirror all the time and lamenting and regretting, rather than taking it and turning it around and keep it moving. One of the things that's big for me, as a matter of fact, the title of my memoir is Process, Pivot, and Proceed. That's something that I've had to do my entire life is process, pivot, and proceed. I would stay 1 year with my aunt and 1 year with my mother. She was a single mother at 6 years old when she divorced my father. It was me and her and my sister. And she worked 2 jobs, 16 hours a day. And so it was too much to try to care for kids and work and try to make a living and take care of us, and create an economic base where we were comfortable. So when 1 year I'd go to Riverside, stay with my aunt, her sister, and then next year I would go to Oakland, Riverside, Oakland, Riverside, Oakland. So I had to learn how to let things go and move on and adapt, and then let that go and move on, and then let that go and move on. And that's something that I've always had to do. Even as an actor, it was like you try to get that job, and then you don't get it, you let it go. You do get that job, you work on that job, you fall in love with these people, and you have an experience, and then it's over with, and you got to let it go. So I've always had to let things go in my life. So therefore, process, pivot, and proceed is a very fundamental aspect of my existence. And one of the things I teach, for 45 years is the whole aspect of being grateful for the things and not having, great expectations without having the appreciation of the gratitude along the way so that you can enjoy the journey, So I ask people to write about their sense of gratitude. What were they grateful for? So Alan Rich, who was a student of mine like 25 years ago in the former place that I used to teach, good student, good guy, good actor. Then he, when he left and went on to do other things, and he moved, I think, to the East Coast, and he became very successful in terms of the business that he was in. We just recently reconnected through one of the apps, and it was good to hear from him, and he was really appreciative of what he had learned from me and stuff like that. So when he saw on IG that I put this out there, and a number of people, Patty wrote in something and some other people wrote in some things that was very cool. But this one struck me in a particular way, not because he was my student, but because of his subject, which pretty much aligns with my belief system, and I just want to share what he said. I just watched episode 11, Gratitude. The newest and quite remarkable thing I am grateful for is my psychologist who told me to study the science of radical acceptance about a year ago. The key takeaways are allowing life's moments to comfortably pass through your experience so that you can live freely in the new moment you're experiencing. And as each new moment enters your experience, you first pause. And in that pause, you're looking for the true nature of what is really happening in this moment, and then respond to all of life's moments with compassionate, loving kindness. And after studying radical acceptance, discovering that having an expectation whatsoever, or having any expectation whatsoever in life, serve only to color the present new moment that's entered your experience and take away from fully experiencing those moments with joy and freedom. Discovering that other than physical safety and enlightenment, human beings needs absolutely no boundaries in life, freely accepting each new life moment that ends your experience with understanding, compassion, and joy. Dare I say, the last piece of the puzzle to what it means to live as an enlightened human being. So what I am totally grateful for these days, Richard, radical acceptance. That's brilliant to me. Because it aligns with the philosophy that I have about process, pivot, and proceed. To take the situations, circumstances in life, process it while you're in it, pivot, and determine, hopefully from that processing, what you have to do next, and don't dally. Get on with it, move. Don't sit and don't lament. Don't, you have to be able to move on. One of the things that I've learned in terms of, as a medic in Vietnam, that I touched everybody. People came to me as not only to clean the wound or to suture up or to put a splint on or to care for something that was infected or anything like that. It was to become the psychologist and psychiatrist and the person who listened and the person who cared. And so therefore, everybody came to me. And so therefore, the weight that was on my shoulders, which I didn't expect, nor was I trained for, except in life, was the fact that, and some of these people I grow to know very well. Some of these people, because I was in touch with all of them, so that when someone got killed or they died, that I had to process that and I had to move to the next one, like a doctor does. Or can you imagine someone working in oncology? They have to be able to process, pivot, and proceed. And that's what we have to do in the third act of our lives, is process, pivot, and proceed. Because when you get into the third act, you have less control of things, unless you take control of things, unless you take absolute control of things. And if you're willing to do that, and this is part of the reason why I've created this whole thing, is to be willing to take control of what I have today, who I am today, pivot and proceed and be able to find the joy in it so that I can live wholeheartedly. So thank you, Alan, for sharing that beautiful message dealing with radical acceptance. And I want to invite other people to take a look at what radical acceptance is, and so that you can make the changes necessary in your life so that you can have a better life, a happier life, a more fulfilling life. Next week, I would like to see who else has a point of view about gratitude. Okay? All right. Thanks for joining me.